Hello folks, this is Audiotron 1003 and this is a tale of the 7 Cs, and what I'm talking about here is the 7 most common C-class boxers that I've found certainly in the streets of Nottingham, but I'm assuming the rest of the country. Now before I begin, a couple of things. First of all, I've had a few comments on my channel about CQR and other things and styles of vents, which is why I've decided to sort of feature these boxes. And secondly, even though there's more than 7 Cs, there are the shorrocks and the old metal Cs, but I'm not including those because I'm really just focusing on the plastic ones in this case. So like I say, I've had comments on the channel about people comparing different manufacturers and vent styles. So I thought, well, since I've got a pretty comprehensive collection of different sorts, I thought I would mention it. So I'm going to start from no vents first of all, which are these two. This is a small C. So if I stick it next to a standard CQR like so, you can see that it's not as big, not as long. This has no vents. This is a Ventless white box. Oh, there's the sticker. I wondered where I'd put that. Anyway, so this is a white Ventless polypropylene box that I featured on my channel some years ago, time ago. This is an unknown ventless polypropylene box. I don't know who makes these. Once again, I've been using it to store old stickers. This is polypropylene. This thing has already started to sun fade before I even got it, so lucky for me, I don't mind. This is about the size of a standard CQR. So if I stick that about there, and it's pretty much similar, just no vents. So those are my ventless C boxes. Then there's the old Micromark boxes, and I have 2 of these. This is another polypropylene box. There it is inside. Okay, very small. I don't need to stick it next to anything because it already is. This is a 3 vented box with round vents reminiscent of the metal vents that you see on, for example, one of these boxes. So I think that's what they were kind of going for. Can I do this? There's another example. So I think Micromark were going for that sort of style. So anyway, that's my small 3 vented bell box, C class. But these are the main ones that you're more likely to find out in the wild. This is the A1 3 vented box, once again polypropylene. This is the inside, and I've seen dummy versions of these where there's no screw hole at the bottom. I have one at the back, it's red, but I couldn't be bothered to take it off the wall, so I'm using this one instead. So there's an A1 C-class box, 3 vents, and these are basically quite triangular in their style. And the other thing is that makes it unique, it has chamfered edges like so, so they're not rounded. So there's another giveaway. Most of them out in the wild are polypropylene, but there are a handful of polycarbonate boxes out there. There goes the phone, never mind. Next is a polycarbonate CQR box, probably the most common boxes you'll ever find out in the wild. 4 vents, triangular but slightly rounder. Okay, and that's inside. I know who's calling me, I'll just have to get back to them. So that's the classic CQR 4-vented bowl box. Next, these are rarer, but I have seen a few knocking around in Nottingham, and I know they exist in other parts of the country. This is a Gardner technology. Technically, it has 5 vents on each side, making 10 in total, but it also has another 2, 4, 6 anti-foam vents at the bottom, and basically it actually has 16, but for the sake of argument we're just talking about these. And these vents are square, like so. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry about that, folks, I had to answer that in the end, it would have just rung on in the background. So this is my 5-vented box made by Gardner Technology, polycarbonate. There's the inside, the anti-foam. It doesn't really get off the wall much, hence the dust. The strobe, by the way, is just stuck on with some sticky fixes. And then there's this one. I've seen a few of these. I've seen them in red, I've seen them in yellow, I've seen them in white most commonly, and I've seen them in polycarbonate and polypropylene. This is how I originally saw them, as Britannia security system boxes, but then ADT bought them out, and then for a while you would see these with ADT logos on them, and then eventually they went into the hexagons and things like that. But for the sake of this video, we're talking about the box and not what's on it. This one has 6 vents. We have 2 short, 4 long, and they're slightly rounded triangular vents, and they're suspiciously the same, if I can do that and get my CQR box and put it next to it. They're suspiciously similar to the point where they're more or less the same, and I've had it on past knowledge that CQR made these as well, although there is a bit of debate about them. There's no markings inside this, no mouldings to say anywhere that this is a CQR box, but it has all of the hallmarks of a CQR box in many respects, although I will admit it is a bit suspicious. It could have been a case where originally these were made by a different firm and CQR bought them out. That could have been possible, but the injection mouldings in some cases are very similar in terms of the style of vents. So until someone gives me some definitive information about these, I'm going to assume that these were made by CQR. So this is the 6-vented box, and if I put that next to the CQR, it's pretty much the same. I do have some reservations because the style of the tab is more angular, whereas the CQR classic box is rounder. So if anybody out there can shed some honest light to the true manufacturer of these, it would be wonderful, because for years I've assumed that they are CQR boxes, and that's one of the reasons why I've made this video. So I'm going to put that back over there, put that one there, and so on. The other thing I wanted to briefly mention, I'm going to ignore the little ones because that's not really relevant for this, but these are the 4 most common boxes you'll find. And if I go down on the floor, that has a wide face. This one has a narrow face. This one has a very wide face, but it's a deeper box than the CQR. You might not see it from that angle, but there is, if I can do this, but there is some subtle differences between this and this, and I find that out when I tend to sort of get stickers made. See, there you go, that's the best way I can do it. So these have wide faces, they're deeper and they're narrower. These boxes are wider slightly, because the back plates can't be interchanged, but it has a narrower front. And then we have this thing which has rounded top and bottom, and it's relatively wider than this. I think in terms of depth, it's a shallower box too than this one. It's more like that. So anyway, last time I'm just going to put the boxes back together and round this video off. So like I say, with the exception of the metal boxes, this is the most common 7Cs you're likely to find out there. So I hope this clears up a few mysteries, answers a few questions, or maybe on the other hand it opens up new questions about the true history of these boxes. So anyway, thank you for watching. Bye.